Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 here to preview SEC basketball games for Saturday, February the 11th. We're doing this Thursday morning, so we don't have any lines on the games yet. However, what we do have is computers. So we have averaged Ken Pomeroy, Bart Torvik, BPI, and Jeff Sagarin, and given you what we expect the spread to be, along with the probability of the home team winning, according to everybody there but Sagarin. All right, let's get right into it. Kentucky visits to Georgia. Neither team really happy about where it stands right now. Georgia is about a 5-point underdog in its own building. Kentucky roughly with the 30-something% chance to win. Blake, this might be a good get-well spot for Kentucky. And by the way, you can catch this one at 11 a.m. Central on ESPN.
Yep, I'll take Kentucky. Straight and to the point. I don't know what to expect from Kentucky long term. I don't think they may not be an NCAA tournament team when all is said and done, but I think they're better than Georgia right now, and that's about all I got for this game. Like this game looked good probably 3 weeks ago, maybe, but it's kind of lost its luster a little bit. First game, remember, was Kentucky won that game by 14 in Rupp. That was January 17th. It was a pretty good game because you remember Georgia got off to a good start, led at halftime. But Kentucky kind of rallied. It was a high-level basketball game, I thought. But this time around, both teams in different spots. And, Kentucky was coming off the Tennessee win, had a lot of momentum. Now neither team has any momentum right now. I think you could say Georgia may have the least momentum of any team in the SEC, and that's South Carolina included, just with how they're playing. South Carolina's playing better, right? Georgia's just struggled to find anything. So, again, schedules played a role in that. But, so I'm going to take Kentucky because if they lose this one, thought the Arkansas loss was bad. This one goes to another level. Maybe not not going to go to South Carolina level a month ago, but it's a bad loss. And at this point, frustration is there, and I don't think that would be good. So I think Kentucky – I just have to believe Kentucky finds enough offense to win this game. But, who's playing, who's not playing, I don't know at this point. So we're doing this on Thursday. Wheeler's been injured. I just think Kentucky's the better team, and Georgia has just – I really do. Like they're just not able to do a whole lot defensively right now, and that's the big issue, I think, for Georgia in this game.
Yeah, by the way, having some internet issues here at home. Hopefully that does not translate to what you're seeing. But anyway, second game in order of tip-off. You spoke of the Gamecocks. They visit Ole Miss, tip-off noon Central. The computers have Ole Miss. Boy, this is how bad South Carolina is about a 12-point favorite with an 88% chance of winning. However, we have noted South Carolina tends to play better on the road than at home. The Gamecocks capable of putting a scare into a lot of teams from time to time. So we'll see what this is. Ole Miss did get a win last time out, which probably helps morale there a little bit, Blake.
Well, I'm almost tempted to pick South Carolina here, and because I really think when you look at how they played, they had a 2-point loss to Arkansas. They were right there hanging around with a chance at Missouri. And now they play the team that I don't think is on that level with Arkansas or Missouri. So, South Carolina's playing better. Better in relation to what they have been doing this season. And so I think if I was, I had to pick a betting lock or something, I would probably take South Carolina plus the 12 or whatever it is. I just think that's probably going to be the case here. But, for Ole Miss, they're another team too. We've talked about this before. They will keep a lot of games. They've kept a lot of games close this season. They're 2-9 in the league, but a lot of games have been pretty close for them, where, a 30-second, 1-minute stretch here or there completely changes the dynamic a little bit. So I would not discount that with Ole Miss. I'll say this, Ole Miss has probably been one of the more consistent teams in how they've played. Now that can be a good thing or a bad thing. It's been a bad thing with their record, but again, they're always kind of right there, except for just, a couple bad matchups, like we said, against an Alabama or something. But So yeah, I'll take Ole Miss. They're the home team, but don't be surprised if South Carolina has a chance to win this one because I think they're playing better, and as we mentioned, they're not giving up. And I don't know that there's anything with Ole Miss that I look at and just feel like that they are. I mean, look, they won the first meeting. What was it, by 12
Yeah,
in
70 to
Columbia?
58.
Yeah, so I would fully anticipate this being sort of a similar type game. But I think South Carolina, as I said, is they're still the 14th team in the SEC, but they're showing some things here
Some
recently.
nights it doesn't translate to 14 in the SEC. Some nights it translates to very
Yeah,
competitive. I mean, they're either really competitive or they're beyond awful.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
Ole
that's
Miss
there's
has
no middle
won
ground.
twice since December 17th. One was that game, and then of course one was the last game against Georgia. That coming on the road on Tuesday. Georgia's, as we mentioned, playing awfully. So anyway, all right, this one should be the game of the day, the Iron Bowl of basketball. Alabama visits Auburn. Tip-off 1 Central on ESPN. Computers have Alabama as about a 3.5-point favorite with about a 37% chance of winning. That's Auburn winning, that is. So in any case, Auburn going through a frustrating spell where it can't seem to find wins, but it hasn't been awful either. It's just been losing some close games. Blake, going unbeaten in the league is so hard. And this seems like a prime spot for a losing streak or a winning streak to end. Now, look, that I'm not saying that based on the way the teams are playing right now, but basketball is a weird game. Not a lot of teams win in Neville Arena. And at some point, Alabama's got to lose, right?
Maybe, but I'm not picking them to
Maybe.
lose. Why should I? I mean, that's what I want to know is if you're going to make the argument for Auburn, the argument can't just be about Alabama. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say Alabama's going to lose. Well, how are they going to lose? Because I don't know what that path looks like right now in this game,
The
and that's why.
argument is spin the wheel of randomness. At some point, it happens,
Yes,
right? Maybe that's not a very
you're right.
sound
Yeah,
argument, but
you're right.
that's
Yeah,
how sports work.
yep, you're exactly right. That's the rivalry game. Top team, number 2 team in the country, wherever you want to put them, goes into the rival, that has been down on their luck, and all of a sudden the rival, you know, sits up, and here we go again. Like they're off for the ride. Like they pull off this win and win 5 of their last 6 or something. That's the scenario you're envisioning here if you're Auburn. But I just don't know how I'm supposed to find that path when I look at how these two teams play. Because I just, that's the issue I would have in picking Auburn here. Which again, we do our picks for fun. We're not telling you again. If we knew what was going to happen, we would not be doing these videos. We'd be out cashing checks in the lottery somewhere. But this is one that I just, it's a trust thing. I mean, we've talked about Auburn kind of having a little bit of a ceiling offensively all season long, and to me, the defense can be what, defense has to be. They have to slow Alabama down because if you want to look at Alabama, and there's one thing you can point out here, if you want to make this part of the argument, Alabama's road performances at times recently have not been great, right? They get beat by 24 at Oklahoma. They didn't play great at LSU, still won by 10. So, if you want to point out some of those examples, yes, I think you can certainly make that case. But I think it's going to be close just because it's a rivalry game. But like I said, the issue I have with picking against Alabama is the same stat I brought up in our previous video. Alabama has won 11 SEC games. They've lost 0. They've won 10 of those games by double digits. They still have not allowed anybody to score more than 69 points. Is Auburn a team that we just trust to fully just offensively go off here and be able to keep up with an Alabama team that may go off as well? Like that, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It's an interesting dynamic for the rivalry aspect, and this is the biggest game of the season for Auburn. There's no question. You know, and some people may say it's the biggest game for Alabama. I don't agree. Like it is from a rivalry standpoint. When you really think about it, like I mean, Alabama's a number 1 seed right now, and they are, this may be. I don't see them really dropping all that much outside of, you know, losing a couple games down the stretch, maybe. But it's like Alabama is so they're so good. I mean, how else do we say it? Like, they've got the best player on the floor in Brandon Miller. And I just think when I look at the way this game sets up, I mean, it's not like Auburn. They lost A&M by what a couple weeks ago, 16 at home.
Yeah.
So it's like I think this will be close. I'd be surprised if it's not close, just because I do think Auburn's going to do some things defensively to challenge this Alabama team. And again, Alabama's a team that does what? What do they rely on? We just said it. What's the crazy last 3 games, right? We did this to Missouri, and what happened the next game? They couldn't make a shot. 19 to 41, 13 to 29, 15 to 34 from 3 in their last 3 games. Nuts. But in the 3 games Alabama's lost this season, what have they done poorly? Shoot the 3. So that it's kind of that simple to me. It's if Auburn can force Alabama, to shoot a bad percentage from 3, because that's where you're getting a lot of their points, and if you can keep them off the foul line, then yeah, Auburn's got a chance. I envision one of these games where it's like, let's say this thing is tight down the stretch and you need a basket. Well, Auburn's guy is Wendell Green. Alabama's guy is Brandon Miller. But I feel like Alabama's got more of those guys. If one of those other guys, if you're defending your best player and you're putting the pressure on that guy, I think Alabama's got more guys that can make shots consistently. And that's why I will take them to win this game.
Okay. Next one up.
Did you make a pick?
2:30 Central.
Hold on a second. This is the Iron Bowl of basketball. We're not getting out of here.
I
just
tried
me
to
picking
slip
this
it
game.
in and then get by it. I'm going to go. Man, I hate to operate this way because I like to give reasons for stuff. I'm just going to go
with the randomness effect.
Because sometimes, like DJ Jeffries the other night hits 5 or 6 3-pointers from Mississippi State. Where did that come from? This is a little less of a stretch. Auburn had won 29 in a row in that building. I'm gonna go Auburn just because. because at some point it happens, and playing on the road against your rival that desperately needs one, it seems like a good spot for it to happen.
Well, here's 2 more stats. Let me throw at you.
And if I'm wrong, hey, have at it.
Well, how about this? I'm going to go with yours too. I'm going to go with Alabama just because. So take away everything I just said, and I'm going to go just because. That way you can't pick apart my argument either. So it's like just because. That's what I'm going with, because you can't pick apart Chris's argument. So you can't do that to mine either. There's a couple of stats that stand out here. Auburn, 4th in the country, 3-point field goal defense, 27.2%. That is big heading into this game. Remember, what does Auburn do well too? They block shots. And so I think that's something else to keep in mind. 15.2% block rate. That's 5th in the country. But remember too, Alabama is statistically better than Auburn defensively. I don't know why we're still not talking about Alabama as an elite defensive team. Again, having given up 69 points in an SEC game, 11 games. So they're the number 2 team in the country in 2-point percentage defense, 3-point percentage defense. Alabama is really good on defense. That's why I think it's like, look, I'm doing the easy pick here, right? I'm going with a team that is 11-0 in league play and has beaten everybody by double digits except for one. Like I'm going the easy route here. But if you dive into it, as I said earlier, yes, you can find some arguments for Auburn, but I don't like the just because. I can't give you that. I can't give you that one. But you can have it for this one because you've had internet issues, and so we'll blame the internet issues.
You're going to mock me so hard
to form a better
Alabama
argument.
Wins this game.
Well, look,
I'm the number cruncher. I'm the stat guy. It goes against all my nature, but I've seen a lot of basketball. I know how this works. I mean, Tennessee found it out in Nashville.
Yeah, that's why Wednesday. I'm not picking this one, because I think we just got the randomness one in Nashville.
Yeah.
So
does the wheel of randomness have a memory? I mean, does it know what just happened, or does it?
It does. Yeah, it had. That's how it works.
Then I'm screwed.
No, I can't win either way. I talking about this on my Twitter timeline, right? We've made the joke before that. Well, now there's a lot more Missouri fans on my Twitter timeline too now because of my Dennis Gates stuff. But my Twitter my following is mostly comprised of obviously a lot of SEC basketball fans, but mostly Alabama and Auburn basketball fans. So my Twitter timeline on Saturday is going to be just a total debacle. Like, it's going to be a mess. So I don't win either way here by picking either team, but I will I guess I will play it safe and pick the team that is currently 11-0 and has been on one of the most dominant runs we've seen in SEC play in a while. So, yeah, that's it.
I feel like the wheel of randomness is about to become a thing one way or the other. I don't know if it's a bigger thing if I win this one or if I lose it.
Well, because I look at the rest of the slate, I'm like, I don't know that the wheel
The
of
bag of shame
randomness
might become a thing too if I lose it. But anyway.
Well, look, we've seen this. How many times have we seen this? Purdue went to Indiana, right? Lost that game. Tennessee goes to Vanderbilt, loses that game. It happens. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it happens. And Auburn Arena or Neville Arena, I always want to call it Auburn Arena. I'm sorry, but like that's just what it's been for so long.
It is.
It's gonna be rocking, man. This is gonna be such a fun atmosphere. Game days there. It's gonna be exciting. And think about. I mean, I will say this quickly again. Like, Alabama and Auburn game day, like game day basketball. Like this is
pretty
what
cool.
It's become. So yeah, good for both of them. But this one should be a lot of fun.
All right, I tried to get by my pick. You wouldn't let me. Now we're going to move on to Vandy Auburn or Vandy Auburn, Vandy Florida.
Auburn in that one.
2:30 SEC Network Central Time. My internet's screwing up again. I can tell it on my end, but anyway.
All right, we'll speed through the rest of these.
Okay, the computers. Yeah, the computers have Florida about a 9.5 point favorite with an 81% chance to win. I feel like that's a little bit high on both cases. The computers have loved Florida a little bit more than I have. Vandy playing better lately. I feel like Jerry Stackhouse got their attention after as he termed it, the scheduled loss to Alabama a week ago. Vanderbilt has won 2 in a row, both in the final few minutes. But this is a must one for Florida. This feels like your prototypical Vandy keeps it close, but loses in a Colin. Oh, you know what? Colin Castleton and Liam Robbins, if both those kids stay on the flight, that's a very underrated watch on Saturday.
I'm almost willing to pull out the wheel of randomness here on this one because I really think I might pick Vanderbilt.
He's mocking me again.
No, I'm serious. I really might pick Vanderbilt here. I don't know if I can. The only reason we talk about lack of argument. Look, the hangover effect is real. I think sometimes, and boy, coming off such an emotional win,
they looked awful.
Yeah, I mean, Florida didn't look great, and so I think that's. But that's Alabama. I'm sorry, we saw Alabama beat Vanderbilt by 57 points. So let's common opponent there. I mean, hey, so. Yeah, I mean, I know you kind of got to pick Florida, I guess, but Alabama is just so different. I think we have to take the Alabama games and just sit them aside and compare a team to everyone else because Alabama is just on a different level, whether anybody wants to admit that. And again, they may lose at Auburn on Saturday, but to this point, they've been on a different level than everybody else. And so if you sit that game aside, you're still looking at a Florida team that has defended really well. And I think that probably comes back down to earth a bit here in terms of, not having to play a team like Alabama, instead playing a team like Vanderbilt that, will have to grind out a win here if they're going to get it. But hey, let's point out too, Vanderbilt's on a winning streak and they've beaten Ole Miss, they've beaten Tennessee, both close games. Fully expect this one to be close. I know Justin and our other Vanderbilt fans are going to call me out here for being a coward, but I'm going to take Florida. I almost thought about it, but I mean, look, the Gators season's on the line here. Let's call it what it is. Like Florida's season is on the line here. They have to win this game. They lose this game, adios to the NCAA tournament unless they win the SEC tournament, in my opinion. So they have to beat the teams they should beat, and they're going to have to now beat either Arkansas or Kentucky, I think, to be in that conversation. And again, beat Vanderbilt twice. They're going to have to beat Ole Miss. They're going to have to beat Georgia. They're going to have to beat LSU. They have to win all these games. So Florida's season's on the line here, so I'll give them the nod just because of that. But don't be surprised if this goes down to the wire.
Do you know who's 0-6 against Florida?
Did he get ejected the last time they played there? Was that last year? Am I misremembering that?
Entirely possible.
Hold on a second. We got to fact check here. We like to fact check everything because I know we always get everything right. But Hold on, I could have swore.
From what I recall, the Vanderbilt Florida games have not been particularly close.
Sorry, that's 3 years ago. Okay, I'm sorry. February 15th, 2020. Florida by 18 in Gainesville. He was ejected then.
He being Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, I recalled that, and I was like, was that last year? But I said this too earlier. Like 3 years ago, I couldn't even tell you. Like my whole time, the wheel of time instead of the wheel of randomness has all been completely thrown off. Over the past several years. So I couldn't tell you what's happened when. I have no idea. So
I'm going to be really disappointed if our audience doesn't make this into some kind of a thing here.
Have you ever read The Wheel of Time, by the way?
I have not.
Well, that's interesting. It's a lengthy book, I think, from what I can remember. But we'll talk about that on our new show, Wheel of Books, coming soon.
Wheel of Books. You've had me watching Wheel of Bad Movies before, so maybe we'll go into
bad
books.
Movies. I don't remember that.
I've watched a couple movies just to get your jokes before.
Oh,
Adam
Happy
Sandler
Gilmore
movies.
Yeah, I don't know if we got a lot of new people here. At one point, this guy had not seen Happy Gilmore, and
then I use the jokes, and then you sit there with the straight face, and you don't appreciate it. But anyway,
I can no sell a joke anytime. But, anyways, on to who else plays? Is Arkansas the must bus? Let's get to the must bus.
I've got this on the wheel of other stuff. Let's see. In order of tip off. Well, yeah, we do. The wheels are on the must bus. The must bus is rounding corners at 90, and Nick Smith is coming back, and you had all kinds of fun. You also run into Mississippi State, which can defend your socks off. Arkansas is about a 7-point favorite with a 76% chance of winning in its own building. You can see this one on ESPNU. Again, tip-off 5 Central. This is allegedly Nick Smith's comeback game. I am not betting. Frankly, right now, the two teams in the league that I think you least want to play are Alabama and Arkansas. And I'm interested to know Mississippi State pulls a win here. It gets really interesting for State and tournament. Arkansas solid at the end right now, but hasn't banked a lot of huge wins. We'll get to that in bracketology. I'm rambling here. Why would you not pick Arkansas here?
By the way, just as for a clarity fact check note, Wheel of Time is actually a series, not one book. Is a series. The Wheel of Time. So
I've never heard of the Wheel of Time.
Well, there you go. Anyways,
also live under a rock part of the time.
Back to the wheels on the must bus go round and round. Yeah, I mean, why would you not? You're right. Why would you not pick Arkansas here? Other than the fact that Mississippi State is just they're playing some defense, and defense travels. It traveled to Alabama and almost won there. They've now won 4 in a row, as we've talked about, and look, their last 3 opponents have scored 53 points or less. And so I think it's going to be harder to achieve that against Arkansas, but I don't think it's impossible, just given how Mississippi State plays defense. But this is one of those games where you look at it and, again, the must bus is rolling along as it usually does this time of year. Maybe it's got maybe something about the tires on the bus. I wonder if that's it. Like get some kind of all terrain. Maybe they switch out it's time for a tire rotation every February or something. I wonder if that's what's happening here.
But don't if you get those tires, you can't go as fast, right?
Maybe. I think that's just the tread of the snow and the rain in December and November and early January. But once you start to, get into February, it may warms up a little bit. So there's my analysis for the game. It's all about the tires.
That's why people are here.
I think Arkansas's got the tires right now that are that can get them there. We talked about kind of the rotation. I put the stat. I don't know if you saw this, Chris, which you didn't because you never get on Twitter. But I put out the stat yesterday about. Do you know who do you want to take a guess as to who the top 3 players in the league are in minutes played?
Well, I know one's Ricky Council.
Number 1.
He's number 1. I think Black is 2.
They're both tied, 35.3 minutes per game.
Okay, I'm trying to think who would be 3.
Come on, man. This is an easy one. layup.
Devin
Davis.
Hodge.
Devo Davis.
Oh,
Number
so
3.
they go. When's the last time a team had
Yes,
the top
exactly.
3 in minutes played? That's crazy.
Exactly. Nuts, isn't
He
it?
does it. He does it every year.
But it's not
But
surprising at all. And I think
no.
that's what I said. Like it's not surprising that this is how they've had to win games, is to have all 3 of these guys playing this many minutes. Um, and again, Nick Smith now comes back. We're assuming we're gonna, wink, wink, perhaps. I mean, it's just, some people will say, well, you don't want to throw off your rotations or your mojo or that kind of stuff. I just don't see that happening here. I think you're adding such a dynamic player into the mix that it's going to open up so much more for everyone else. And, these guys that have already been there. I mean, it's like now you're not just focused on defending Anthony Black. You got to defend Nick Smith too, and Ricky Council and everyone else. It's just like, so I think that, that to me, that will give Arkansas a lot of momentum just having him back in the mix. But well, like I mentioned, just Mississippi State, I know they struggle offensively at times, but they are going to defend, and they are not going to make this thing easy on Arkansas. And, like we said before, Arkansas needs to get to the free throw line. Arkansas, what? You talk about their point distribution, pretty much 60% of their points come from 2. Isn't that right? That's something to really look at here against this Mississippi State team. It's got
That's
a lot
about
of
right.
size, and just how they defend, getting to the rack. Tolu Smith's in there doing his thing. So yeah, I think this is a fun matchup between these 2 teams. You talk about teams that match up nicely against each other. I feel like this is one of those games that I'd be surprised if this is, a blowout of any sort. But then again, you always hedge on that a little bit with Mississippi State, because if they're not hitting shots, maybe they could get blown out, because they just, if they're not making shots, that can be a game changer. But I think they're good enough defensively to really test Arkansas here. But I will take the Hawks.
Okay, speaking of contrast of styles and matchup, same time in Knoxville, Missouri goes to Tennessee. Now, the computers still continue to love Tennessee, despite the fact the Vols are not playing nearly as well the last 2 weeks. The computers have Tennessee, get ready for this, Blake, is about a 14.5-point favorite. Now, I have a feeling the line is going to be something south of that. The computers give the Vols a 90% chance to win. Couple notes here. Not only has Tennessee lost 2 of its last 3, but Josiah James went down late in the Vandy game with what looked like a sprained ankle. You've got the continuing Isaiah Mosley situation in Missouri, where we literally don't know from one game to next if he plays or not. Trey Gomillion's still hurt. He was on the bench in street clothes. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air as we do this on Tuesday morning.
Well, you say all
Thursday
that, and
morning.
I'm confident in my pick here, and you know where I'm going. I've got to try to reverse the mojo here a little bit. I'm going to pick Tennessee, and the reason why is Missouri has been not good on the road, and we've talked about that. The shooting splits for Missouri on the road versus home are significant, and it's hard to against Tennessee, and I know Tennessee is struggling, but I just think Missouri has the one outlier of the Ole Miss game where they hit 16 threes, right? But the other games, you really look at it. Arkansas 6 of 19 from 3, A&M 7 of 31 from 3, Florida 3 of 18 from 3, Mississippi State 6 of 23 from 3. Those are all bad percentages, right? So I mean, I guess bad percentages overall, but maybe in the SEC they're not as bad. But I think it's hard to trust them in this kind of game against a top team like this, which I still consider Tennessee one of the top teams. I know they've been struggling lately, but so that's my thing here. I still think that, Missouri defensively is going to open up some holes for Tennessee on offense that we probably don't see, that Tennessee really needs at this moment. It's almost like this game matchup wise on paper feels like it comes at the right time for Tennessee, because they need to play a team that isn't as crisp on the defensive end of the floor, other than the fact that they turn you over. And that's something here that I wonder, is that what we talk about in Missouri? I think if Missouri wins this game, that's the talking point, is they just force a lot of turnovers. And that's what they've done this season. I think that's the one thing you circle here. If we are looking up, it's either Missouri finally found their rhythm on the road from 3, and or Tennessee just was lost offensively and Missouri forced 19 turnovers. That's the path, right, to victory for Missouri. But I just can't bank on that right now because I think looking at Tennessee, remember too, what's Tennessee do really well? Tennessee's going to miss some shots. We know that, but they do a really good job of getting the rebounds when they miss those shots. They're number 2 in offensive rebounding percentage. And Missouri, as we know, is just, they are not a good rebounding team at all. And so that's why I can't go all the way here and pick the upset, because I just think that there are some deficiencies on Missouri's side that I question, even against a team like Tennessee, who I think can exploit some of those deficiencies, even though Tennessee's been struggling.
I feel like Tennessee's also due to play better.
The wheel of randomness sometimes turns, and it just allows you to play better. So yeah. Yeah.
I'm never going to live that one down if it goes poorly. And maybe I shouldn't. Okay, this one could go poorly too for the home team. Texas A&M goes to LSU. The Aggies are about a 5.5-point road favorite. LSU's got a 28% chance to win, according to the computers. You can catch this one at 7:30 on the SEC Network. How about that? That's the only nightcap.
Good.
Saturday night. Good. I don't see. LSU's played a little better lately. It's started to find a little more scoring outside of KJ Williams, but it's still not pretty. And we talk about the one team can score, the other can't. A&M is brutal to try to defend right now, and I just don't see LSU upsetting A&M as something in the even with the little help of the wheel of randomness. I don't see this one happening.
Well, if it doesn't, it's time for LSU to sit back, enjoy, I don't know, a nice meal, a beverage, whatever, and
You're ready for your Super Bowl party.
That after this game, finally,
the stretch,
the schedule,
the 4-game stretch.
I mean, finally, your season begins again. Like, I know this is not us. Like I've said before, I'm not knocking LSU. This schedule, as I said, is just, they've had no break, like none. They have not had a break in over a month. Like it's almost a month and a half now.
Well, let's pause that a minute. This is what we said the other day. If people missed it, we've got the SEC is sort of a 9-5 league, where you got 9 teams that are sort of firmly in the discussion for NCAA tournament potentially. They're top 50 by most of the computers, and then you got 5 teams that are a good bit behind that. Although I argue it might be maybe 9, 1, and 4 now, given what Vanderbilt's done lately. But anyway, LSU has not played one of those bottom 5 teams yet, and it will not until Valentine's Day at Georgia. I mean, the odds of that are staggering, but the the wheel of unkind scheduling was spun, and that's where LSU landed.
Yeah, I mean, as I put on Twitter the other day, it's one of the toughest schedules ever. Like, just it has to be, because no one, I don't think, has played a stretch like this. And you can even say, well, they had a let up against Texas Tech. Playing Texas Tech is not a let up, like the way they play. Now, I know they're 1-10 in the Big 12, but the way they play is not a let up. Like it's still not a fun team to play. So yeah, I'm gonna pick A&M. I said it before, I don't think A&M's going anywhere. They're 9-2 now, and don't look now, but let's say, I mean, this is gonna sound very interesting, I know, but let's say Alabama drops the game to Auburn. All of a sudden, an A&M
after you telling me that couldn't happen, huh?
Well, I didn't say that. I just, I prefer, just, again, we're not going to go back to that. But, I mean, all of a sudden, A&M moves a game away from Alabama in the standings. And now, remember, these two teams meet on the final
Alabama goes
Saturday.
to Tennessee.
Well, yeah. Then Alabama goes to Tennessee. A&M hosts Arkansas. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility that, A&M could be the first place team in the SEC next week if they win this game and Alabama loses, and then all of a sudden you've got quite a setup heading into next Wednesday. So yeah, it's a fun thing to think about. But I keep saying, Chris, I mean, if LSU, or excuse me, if A&M wins this game, which I just think defensively they're going to be able to. I mean, the first game LSU won 69-56, and they forced a few turnovers. LSU could not shoot the ball inside 3, which is interesting. They made more 3-point field goals than 2-point field goals. And so I just think that, again, scoring on A&M right now, the options A&M has, I keep saying they're starting 5. I put it up against anybody, maybe outside of Alabama. But let's maybe just hold off this discussion. But this could get very interesting if Alabama were to lose to Auburn and A&M wins at LSU, because A&M, as I keep saying, their toughest games left all are in College Station: Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, all in College Station. Now they got to go to Missouri, they got to go to Mississippi State. Those are not fun places to play, but ranking the toughest games left, the top 3 are going to be opponents: Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, in my opinion, and so they're all in College Station. So don't look now, but Auburn could cause some chaos if they beat Alabama, because, I mean, hey, it'll take some work, but not to say that A&M cannot be the first place team in the SEC next week. So got to beat LSU first, though.
I'm wondering about a look ahead for A&M in this one, but I don't know, it doesn't really seem to fit a pattern. They didn't overlook Georgia last weekend at home. Didn't overlook Vanderbilt a couple of weeks ago. Only 2 losses, Arkansas and Kentucky, both on the road. So anyway, picks. Let's get your bro throw picks of the day.
Goodness, I forgot about this. Let me pull this up.
I got a couple in mind.
All right. Bro throw, by the way, you can click on that link below there, and you can check everything out with our friends at Bro Throw, fine sponsors of this channel here. And I'm going to pull this up now without stalling, because who would like to stall? No one wants to hear someone just say the same thing over and over again.
I mean, you wouldn't have forgotten we were going to do this and
no, it's almost like the wheel of randomness hit the the show prep. All right, so Bro Throw, if you click on that link below in the description, it takes you to Bro Throw here. You can see what we got going on. You're going to see the games for today. We're doing this on Thursday. Again, if you want to, bet on Wagner and St. Francis, all you do, if you click on this, I'll take Wagner 2.5 here. It's all there for you. Just bet against someone else, right? That's what you do. You can join our fine group. If you want to join our Southeastern 14 group, all you do is, there it is. You click on that. You can see who has live bets. So Rory here has a bet on Purdue and Iowa right now that's open. By the way, Super Bowl coming up as well. Got some bets in there, so you can bet against them. You can take that bet, all that good stuff. So, we're going to put some of our stuff in there. You can bet against us, person to person. You're not betting against the book. You're just betting against someone else. So a lot of fine potential here to do that. My Bro Throw bet, Chris, I think is going to be, boy, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to let you go first, and I'll give you mine. How about that?
Well, I've got 2. I think if the line is Ole Miss in 12, which I bet it won't be, my guess is it's going to be more around 9-ish. I don't know why, but I do know why. I just don't think that. For first of all, Ole Miss is down a key player that it's had a good bit of the year. We've talked about Carolina on the road. If that line is anything around 12 in Ole Miss's favor, I would lean to Carolina. That probably my number one. And I think A&M can cover 5.5 in Baton Rouge if that's what the line is. And if Tennessee, Missouri is close to 14.5, which I don't think it will be, that one scares me, but that might be my third, is taking Missouri to cover that one.
Yeah, I like the South Carolina one. Again, I don't know why I'm the 14th team in the SEC. I've all of a sudden found confidence in, but I think they would keep it close.
It's because of the dynamics of the road home splits.
Double digits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also take the under in Arkansas, Mississippi State. I don't even know what it is, but I would take it no matter what. I don't know why. I tend to think that's something that could happen. So anyways, there's a look at our friends from Bro Throw. So you can check that out there. And yeah, we always appreciate them.
All right, Blake, we will be back to recap these games probably Monday morning. We got football stuff coming up. We got baseball stuff coming up. My goodness, baseball is 8 days away as we do this. Can't wait for that. Got more baseball stuff coming. Best way to get our content is hit that subscribe button so you get notifications, enable those, hit the like button, do all those fun things. Hope everybody has a great weekend. He's Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14. We'll see you again soon.